Welcome, welcome. It seems like it's been a very long time since I've been here with you, family, and I'm so excited to be here tonight. Now, remember, this is a very special night, a very special interview, and I want you guys to participate with me. So, the number to call here for the Primetime Power Show is 610-574-0513. I am very excited to be here. Before we get started, what I want to do is I want to let everybody know that not only is my guest a specialist in drones, he's also the vice president of the Bartram Alumni Association, and I'm really excited to have that because, of course, I am a Bartram alumnus, and some exciting things is coming out of that. And he has done some wonderful things with the organization, especially getting us the 501c3 status, which I'm excited about. So we have some wonderful things that we can do through that. So I want to introduce to you this evening Mr. Michael Johnson, that has many titles. And this evening, we're going to specifically talk about drones. I don't know very much about drones, but it was very interesting when he was talking to me about it and what the company is doing. And so our title this evening is Drone Technology in the community, in the minority community. So I'm excited about that. And I'm excited for our young people to know what it is to have leadership and what it is to be involved in things. And guess what? I understand that this is going to be the way for the future. So I want to ask you a couple questions, Mr. Johnson. But before I do that, introduce yourself. Tell them some things that you're involved in, some things that you hope that will happen in the future, and your goals, and the things and invite them out to the Bartram alumni, and also invite them in getting to be involved in this drone syndrome thing. I say it's a drone syndrome, right? A drone technology.
Okay, thank you very much, Christina. First of all, being part of the John Bartram Alumni Association, I was the vice president.
Sorry.
So, but I am co-chair of the board of that association.
That's just as important.
Well, you know what?
A lot of work, though, right?
You get the opportunity to kind of sit back and observe,
Oh, okay.
and let the officers do most of the heavy
But
lifting. With that being said,
Okay.
part of the mission of the Alumni Association is to provide resources for the students that are currently at Bartram. In doing so, we're trying to enhance their education adventure,
Yes.
so to speak, by bringing them more in step educationally with the technology of today, and that technology includes drone technology. It's something that we're working for to get into the school after regular classroom hours as a workshop or a club.
Well, do me a favor before
Yes.
you go any further. Tell me what a drone is.
So basically, a drone is a device that can be operated remotely by an individual. So in doing that, drones take on many forms. You have aerial drones, which are referred to as small unmanned aerial vehicles. You also have submersible drones. So
Wow.
you also have roving robots, which are considered drones of a certain level. Now, the difference between the submersible and the aerial drones is that the aerial drones have a much greater area that they can cover versus the submersible drones. Submersible drones are actually connected by a tether.
And that is?
Well, so basically a line that will transmit back the picture that the drone sees.
Oh, okay.
And also it transmits the control commands, such as to dive deeper, to turn left, turn right, stop. So those are the subtle differences.
Okay.
Now, as far as what effect that drones have on our everyday life, just 3 weeks ago, there was the first transplant organ delivery by drone to the University of Baltimore Medical Center.
Oh.
It was delivered from 3 miles away from across the city. It cut down the transport time from, let's say, 45 minutes to approximately 5 minutes,
Wow.
which is a life-saving difference.
Yes.
So, yeah, this is not the future. It's the present. It's here.
For me, it would be at my old age. It would be almost like the future, because some of these things, some of these technologies, children just get them. You know, they just do it. They born into it. So it is almost like for them, yep, it's right now. But for later, for me, it's later because it's going to take me maybe a couple years or something to even learn about it. So
So, fortunately, we have an opportunity as a people and as everyday people to be in front of the wave for a change instead of behind the wave. The difference being is that instead of getting a minimum wage employment opportunity behind the wave, you now have the chance to get a true earning potential opportunity in front of the wave.
wow, you got this, producer.
I
Yeah.
do. Now is this something that you have to do secondary education, or is this something that is trainable within a job position?
So we have two organizations or two companies. Now, one company is called Drone Lecture, and that consists of a partner and myself that created a test prep training manual to help you become certified to be a commercial drone operator.
Now, is this document, is it downloadable online? Is it accessible on the website?
So, yes, we have a website.
Okay.
There's an online course, but it's highly recommended that you do the classroom course, especially if you are not versed in aeronautics in some level. Even though they are airline pilots, drone pilots are much different. We've had commercial airline pilots and military pilots take this course, and when they finished, they came up to us and said, "This was a little bit more than we expected. It's quite different, but
Yeah.
we're glad we did it."
So the beginner can pursue this type of career
Absolutely,
from the ground up. Okay.
absolutely. You only have to be 16 years old
Wow.
to become certified
Oh,
drone pilot.
That's a good jump start
Wow.
to your career.
Yes.
High school.
This creates the opportunity for those who feel as though they don't want to do
Yep.
4 years of college.
Yep.
Yes.
You
Yep.
can take this certification course
Wow.
and then take the FAA exam. You pass it. Now you're prepared to actually come into the industry.
Wow.
So, with that being said, opportunities that exist if you have a drone that's of the level where you can go out and fly and take some video and pictures. There are companies that they just gather information for certified pilots into a database, and they give them access to that database to look over and select opportunities to fly jobs for payment
Wow.
with instructions on what type of pictures that they require. They do that, submit the pictures or the video that was required. They upload it, and a week later, they receive a check.
So take us conceptually about the process of actually controlling a drone. Is it a remote in your hand with some type of display? Like,
Okay, so
just for the novice, kind of explain the basics of, let's say I need to get the drone from point A to point B, but I'm at point A. Like, how does that process
okay,
work?
basic rules of drone operation. First off, you must keep the drone in line of sight. Now, what they refer to the drone as is a unmanned aerial vehicle, which is part of the unmanned aerial system, UAS. The system includes a radio controller with a tablet screen. Okay.
Yep, that's the screen.
So-
there you go.
Absolutely.
Yes.
Good job.
So now you must keep that drone in line of sight, but it does have functionality and control for up to 3 miles. Your natural sight ability is going to
Yes.
actually fall off at about a half a mile
Yes.
because of the size of some drones. There are drones that are much bigger that you will be able to keep in view at a further distance. But as you go through the training course, it is specified that when you fly a drone, you must keep it 500 feet below the cloud level and no further than 2,000 feet distance vertically. Otherwise, what happens is that it starts to chameleon into the background of the sky and you lose track of it.
Right. So
So
how fast does the drone?
there are different drones for different purposes.
Yeah.
Some of them on the commercial level get up to speeds of 85 miles an hour.
Wow.
Oof.
There are others that get up to speeds of 45 miles per hour, 35 miles per hour. So it depends on what type of drone you're utilizing. Some are designed for search and rescue. Others are designed to do what's called 3D mapping,
Wow.
structural inspection. You also have drones that are designed for agricultural use, as far as crop dusting, herd management,
Wow.
irrigation development. So the different what they call verticals, the different verticals within the industry, touch on everything from cinematography, mining, inspection, agriculture, traffic management, telecom, tower inspection, high voltage power transmission lines inspections, power plant inspections, wind turbine inspections.
Oh my.
So
Listen, I this.
Now,
Woo!
is there resistance from human beings with these drones? Like, what's the flip side to this?
Listen.
The efficiency obviously goes up substantially, but
absolutely.
But what do you hear as far as the negatives from? I guess humans, obviously, job security is the thing I'm thinking of
Well,
off the top of my head. That's
here's-
going to get reduced possibly.
No, actually,
Yeah.
it doesn't reduce. It actually creates more job positions, because not only do you have the drone pilot, you actually have a whole crew, because you need
Oh.
a visual observer,
Yeah.
you need a sensory operator, you need a safety officer, so that consists of a whole crew.
Right.
Then on the backside, you also need a certified service tech.
Right. Well,
See-
that makes sense.
Okay,
Yeah.
so now
So it's creating jobs.
exactly, exactly.
Not one for me.
Now
Hey, you never know.
Yeah,
you never
listen,
know.
I can't learn all that stuff that fast.
you'd be surprised what
Really?
what you already learned.
Yeah.
So it's as far as being able to tell where you are with the drone, navigation wise. In this course, we have a section that teaches you about sectional charts, how to read them, and how to read all the documentation on them. Basically, sectional charts tell you about lines of latitude and longitude, which are nothing but number lines.
Right.
You learn about number lines in school,
Yes.
in middle school. So
Yes.
one number line is vertical,
Well-
the other number line is horizontal.
How well I remember that.
Absolutely.
So we're going to. I just wanted to ask you, because one of the things that we were talking about is how our minority community can be involved. Because at this particular time, when I talk to some kids and things like that, they know drones by the drones, but
Exactly.
don't know that there is a whole different category and a life-changing experience involved with the drones. So tell me a little bit about how our minority community could be involved. Not just kids, not just the children, but also the adults and their parents
Sure,
and all
sure.
that.
I mean, because these opportunities, they exist, like you say, not only for the kids, but for the adults also. Because there are people out here that are underemployed as well as unemployed. To give you an example, that opportunity I told you about with the database and selecting jobs, drone jobs out there. Well, on the low side, you might make $50 for flying one job that took you 1 hour.
Ooh,
Okay, so
I take that.
$50 an hour.
so basically,
And it's fun. You know?
You're right.
right, $50 an hour. Okay.
Right, right.
So now, how long does it take you to make $50 an hour at minimum wage at Walmart?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. And they have this, and the thing about it is that the exciting thing about it is that we could build their self-esteem and let them understand that they have all this knowledge that they have and the ability to do it with the encouragement of people that know how to do it. So that's exciting.
Absolutely. To that end, as I said, we have drone lecture, and I spoke of a larger entity, which is called Aerial Systems Group International Incorporated. What that consists of is a consortium of minority-owned drone companies from New York, Pennsylvania, New Jersey, Jacksonville, Florida, Maryland, Houston, Texas, San Antonio, Texas, and Nassau, Bahamas. So
Yay!
our focus is to have an impact on the industry. Within that collection of companies, some are female owned.
Yay! It's from a woman's perspective. You never
From a women's perspective. And the certifications that cut across the lines of this company include you have certified thermographers, you have certified drone pilots, you have military personnel that are retired, you have military
Wow.
personnel that are still active, you have a law enforcement.
Wow.
So former law enforcement and current law enforcement. So this is a collective, and our focus is on bringing the message of what we can do and what can be done to the minority community by way of STEM and STEAM programs at churches, armories, and school districts.
Right, and that's very, very good because right now, the average person in our communities may think of a drone as simply is just a gadget.
Yes.
Exactly.
You know, it's kind of like a toy. It's like that
Yes.
remote control car that I had back in the
Right.
day. But they're not seeing it as great potential opportunities for
Right.
a career.
It's a very important tool.
Yeah,
It's,
yeah.
It is.
it's
Yeah.
a tool that's used now to inspect roadway infrastructure, reconstruct accidents, automobile accidents.
Wow.
My partner and I just today finished our second group of New Jersey, New York Port Authority employees and a Franklin, New Jersey police officer who does nothing but accident reconstruction.
Well, I'm gonna need to go to the class because I'm gonna need to do something. No, you know,
I mean,
I really appreciate doing what I'm doing.
You,
I
you're,
really do.
you're retired, right? You got plenty of time to pick up a new thing.
A whole new thing.
Hey,
And there's a potential for a husband.
I mean,
So it's
you know,
more than flying
I
drones.
can't
into this.
necessarily rule that out in your life, but
listen,
you know, you
it is what
never
it
know
is.
what the drones can bring together.
Listen, God put something in front of you. You supposed to take advantage of it. Now, if I need to fly drones, I need to do that, or be an inspector, or be a whatever it takes.
So quick question. Let's go back to the implementation of getting this exposed in our schools. What's the current plan, particularly in the Philadelphia school district?
So here's where we are at with our efforts, or with my effort, I should say, at this point. I've focused my attention on Bartram because being an alum and
Yep.
having the association in place.
Yes.
So in doing that, we also had to focus on the feeder schools to Bartram
Yes.
and create a pipeline. And to that end, I've actually spent time with the principal of Penrose Middle School. We sat down and drafted up a grant application that was being offered by New York Life Foundation for technology to help the transition of 8th graders to high school.
Wow.
So hopefully we'll hear something on that within a week or so, if it's been approved. In the meantime, through the Alumni Association, I brought it to the floor at our last meeting to pursue the Alumni Association starting a fundraising campaign to underwrite the cost of after-school STEM drone program at Bartram. And on the other side of that pipeline at Harcum College, they have an Upward Bound program for Bartram
Right.
students, which we've done a presentation for. One of our principals, Tony Reed from Drone Tech UAS, he came down from New York, and myself. We did the presentation. They loved it. There was a great response. So now we are doing drone lecture there this summer
Wow.
for those Bartram students and a couple students from several other high schools. And we're going to get them all the way through the FAA exam, get them certified so they can.
That's so
Get into the industry.
exciting. I am so excited. I'm just so excited about it. When I was at the meeting and heard about this, not the first time I heard about it. I heard about it a couple months ago when I had first come to the association, and my first thought was, Oh, wow. They don't have to always have the aspiration to be a doctor, a lawyer, a teacher, Indian chief, or whatever. You can always think outside of the box. So
Absolutely.
I'm excited because some of these guys and ladies that I talk to that get in trouble, they get in trouble because intellectually, if you spoke to them, they are usually above where the normal child is, but don't know how to apply it to something positive, or they haven't been encouraged to be able to give that kind of support to them. So the parents aren't able to give the support to them, and their school is not offering anything that
That's
is out of the
challenging
box.
enough.
Right. So I was excited about it, especially, I'm a little biased, but especially Bartram students, because I came from there and I know they were one of the first schools that offered technology when I was in there, that key punching and all that kind
Right.
of stuff and mag tapes and stuff. And so I was one of the first classes to get involved in that kind of stuff. So I'm kind of excited, and I think that the kids would be excited if we have a revenue or a way of letting them know that it's available. See, one of the things we do, we have these wonderful programs, but we don't have a way of letting them know that the programs are available to them.
Right.
And so not just Bartram students, but these children all summer, some of them are not going to live till September.
Exactly.
Because of the violence and stuff that's going on in our communities. But I guess my thought is, if we can get them to think that they can do something other than be there, because their experiences, statistics show that their experiences is no more than 1 mile from their home.
Exactly. That's their
each
existence,
area.
1 square mile. So,
Yes.
to that being, when you put a drone up in the air and you actually see the picture that's produced by that drone, that takes you beyond that 1 square mile.
Yes.
So now you also actually see, depending on what type of drone you're flying, you actually see the curvature of the planet
Yeah.
and the horizon. So
Wow. Come
now-
on. We're going to do that.
So let's talk about the tech with the drones a little bit. What type of camera?
Okay.
Spec wise, as far as is it a 4K video
So
level?
yes, you have 4K cameras. Now you also have cameras that are called FLIR cameras.
Okay.
That creates what's called a thermal image. That thermal image will allow that drone, if you are on the street with a weapon, and that drone is within 20 feet of you with the thermal image camera for FLIR, it will see where that weapon is on you.
Wow.
So what that does is take away the excuse of I thought they were armed, or
Right.
you know they are, and you can actually communicate to them through that drone and tell them, we see a weapon on your left side. Go down to your
Wow.
knees, lay down with your hands out.
Now, what are the number of ways these images are being transmitted? Like,
Okay.
talk about that a little bit.
So now the way that the images are transmitted from the drone to the controller or the screen, it's by Wi-Fi.
Okay.
So it's using, for video, 5.8 megahertz.
Yep.
For control of the drone from the controller, the frequency is 2.4 gigahertz.
Right.
So, and it
Wow.
actually goes to multiple channels and harmonic frequencies within that bandwidth, constantly scanning. So that prevents the drone
From dropping.
from
right.
being taken over.
Yeah. Wow.
Well, is it time for us to go on a break?
Yeah, let's take a break. We're at about 16 after. We'll take a break and we'll come back on the other side.
Okay, this is Christina, and I'm on the Primetime Power Show. This is Christina from Primetime Power Show, and I need you to give us a call, 610-574-0513. We're here with Mr. Johnson, and we're talking about drones. Hey, I'm back. The This is Christina Williams from the Primetime Power Show. I'm here with Mr. Johnson, and we're talking about drones. And during the break, we had a really good discussion. You know, I might be talking about drones and stuff later on because I'm thinking about taking the course and stuff because it sounds pretty interesting. So you told me some of the things that we needed to do, myself and the producer, on some of the things that we need to do. Could you share that with our audience?
Okay, so to get started, you would take Drone Lecture, which is a course that was created by myself and my partner, Alexander Paris. And that course, it takes a total of about 6.5 to 7 hours over a period of 2 days.
Wow.
Okay, so that's the first step. Now, once you take that course, okay, you'll be prepared to take the FAA Part 107 exam. Okay, and that exam consists of 60 questions. They give you 2 hours to take it. You need 70% correct to pass. Once you pass, you will be issued a temporary unmanned or UAS remote pilot certificate. And you get the certificate because it never expires. But you do have to recertify every 2 years.
Okay. So if I have to recertify every 2 years, I have to go through that same process with the same class or?
No,
Okay.
that's not as extensive. The recertification is only 40 questions, and instead of 2 hours, you get 90 minutes to do it.
Oh.
So it's not bad because after that point, you've been in the business for
For a
2
minute.
years, and things will come a lot easier to you.
Yeah.
So initially, after you take drone lecture, the test prep 107,
Uh-huh.
then you would take a pilot and command ground school course with us. Now, once again, it's approximately 3 hours a day for 2 days. During that time, you will learn about the drone's menus, its controls, and how to operate them. You actually get to take a drone up and fly. So you'll learn how to read what's called the telemetry on the screen, which gives you your altitude and your vertical distance from you. It also gives you other information about your video signal, about drones need satellite signal to fly within the air. So they need a total of 18 satellites maximum to navigate, but they can operate on a minimum of 10 or 11 satellites.
Wow. Listen, you ready?
Yeah, I just had a fundamental question. So the typical drone, what is the power source? How long are you able to fly? I mean, obviously, I know there's gauges and things that
Right.
you see on your tablet where you can tell. Like, so
Okay.
what's the standard? Like, just a standard drone. I know obviously it's different types, but like
Okay.
a standard drone. Just give us some specs.
So there are several different types of drones, and one company dominates the industry, DJI.
DJI,
So
okay.
within their fleet, they have drones that have flight time of 25 minutes, 32 minutes,
Yeah.
48 minutes. They're powered by lithium polymer batteries, and they're actually what they call intelligent batteries. So after they're not in use for a certain period of time, they
Right.
will actually begin to discharge their power so that it doesn't damage the battery itself.
Does it come back to me?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. So there's a function on the drone called a return home.
Okay.
Now-
That sounds better. Because
So-
I know these drones are not. I know they have to be expensive.
Well,
Yeah.
for a drone that you're going to actually make money with,
Yeah.
you need to be prepared to spend at least $1,000.
Yeah, it's definitely worth the
Okay.
investment.
Oh yeah, yeah. You
So
know, I
the,
was,
the return is so fast, you know.
right. Well, I thought you was. I thought you was gonna say, well, you probably need one that costs $10,000.
I'm sure it's
Well-
some that exist.
No, but
Yeah.
I thought that was going to be the basic.
Oh,
one.
okay.
No,
Okay.
You know?
no.
Yeah.
Well, there are drones within our fleet. We have drones that cost in the range of $40,000. So
The Mercedes-Benz
Yeah.
drones.
Wow.
So the collective of companies that make up Aerial Systems Group International are Drone Lecture, Drone Tech UAS, Focus UAS, Skyvalence UAS, Third Eye Aerial UAS, D&W Consultants,
Wow.
unique video impressions, Skyhound UAS, and
So,
Dragonfly drones.
oh, I heard that. I heard about that one. But
Okay.
let me ask you something. So, in Philadelphia
Yes.
itself, um, how many companies or how many training facilities or
Well, well, let me put it to you this way: of the level of our training program, there are absolutely
no,
none.
that's what I thought.
Okay.
See, that's what I was trying to get to. So it is really hard, and I'm glad that you brought up the topic about technology in a minority community, because it's not often that something like that is offered in our community for our children and our young adults to go to another level. And so is it possible that we could, how would they get in contact with you if they were at least interested or had some specific information? They were looking for some specific information, especially for their children this summer, and
Okay.
especially for those that are graduating in June.
Right.
And they're looking for something that would give them a promising future to be able to do, and is not going to break the pockets of their
Right. So,
parents.
so to that end, I wanted to say that there are some programs around, but they are not as financially feasible as our program.
Mm-hmm.
And if you wanted to get more information, you could go to dronelecture.com.
I'm on it right now.
Okay.
Yep.
And you could fill out.
Yep. It's a form available.
You can fill out the form that's there, and we'll follow up
Classroom
with you.
training options to purchase.
Yes.
Yep.
So you could also you could send a email query to aerialsystemsgroup@gmail.com.
Mm-hmm.
So,
And someone would get
and
back to
somebody
them.
will
let
get
them know.
back to you. Yes.
Okay, everyone. So you heard that. You heard that is that they do have a email that you can contact them on, and that's aerialsystemsgroup@gmail.com. It is very exciting. First of all, I know that you're really busy and you're up and down the highway and all that kind of stuff, because when I was trying to get you, you were coming back from New York and stuff. So in that, how many at this particular time, and we talk about the STEM program, which
Yes.
means what? It means
Science,
Science.
technology, engineering, and math.
yeah. I wanted to
Now,
make sure.
they actually have evolved that to STEAM, which now it includes science, technology, engineering, art, and math.
Wow.
Because
STEM to STEAM. Okay.
Yeah, because within the construction of drones, there are different aeronautical designs that you can use to create drones. Drones, you're used to seeing what's called a quadcopter, which has 4 propellers.
Right.
So drones also have 6 propellers. They also have 8 propellers.
Wow.
So
That's a jet. That's a jet. It used to be the 747 that we know when we went from propellers to jets, right?
right. So
A little bit.
now going in the opposite direction, you have drones that are much smaller. You have drones that are smaller than your cell phone.
Wow.
So they can be used indoors. They can be programmed using drone block coding, and it actually can be used with the code Python, which Python is used to write code for a lot of other things.
Yes.
Besides that.
Wow. This is just so exciting. Isn't
So
this exciting?
there's developer opportunities as well.
Absolutely. Now, you want to make the real money? All the raw data that the drones collect, it has to be processed for deliverables to the
Yes.
client or the end user.
Yes.
So that's where you actually make really handsome.
What is that called?
It's called raw data processing.
Raw
Yes.
data processing.
Yes, for deliverables.
But you need to do all the other stuff before you get to the raw data delivery.
Right. You need to know what you're looking. What kind of file are you looking at? Are you looking at something for thermal? Are you looking at something that's called LiDAR with Corona? Are you looking for mapping and data points? So there are different raw data sets that can be processed.
That sounds wonderful to me. Now that sounds like something I can do. Now, flying drones, I'm not all that excited about. I don't think I would want to kind of do that. However, this other
You
thing,
never know. You just got to get that control in your hands, and you never know.
Once you
You take it for a test drive, just like that car you thought.
that I might like, I don't like.
You know, you
So-
you get that tablet, you get that control, and you
I be
start
hooked,
knowing what
right?
you're doing. You know, you ride that bike kind of fast. You
I
never
just-
know
I just be hooked.
where
I
it can
just
take
be
you, and you can see so many places that
Oh, yeah.
you know that you never imagined. Can you imagine? And you're just standing there in your place.
Christina, let me put it to you this way, okay? One of our partners, he got hired to fly aerial shots for a feature film.
Nice.
In Bali. He was there for
Oh.
8 days.
Oh wow.
So
Oh yeah, so that you know what that might be a good thing
Yeah,
too
okay.
with these whole movie things. You know what I mean? I'm just, I don't know. I guess I just thought I had this tunnel vision of what it was. I just think that I probably was just saying, well, okay, they just fly up, and I know that they take pictures and things like that. But the thing about it is, those guys that fly the helicopters for law enforcement,
yes.
they do the same thing that the drones do. Isn't that right?
Well, you know how much it costs to take a helicopter up?
This is what I'm saying.
yeah,
So
exactly.
wait a minute. So you were talking a little bit about Derek. You was talking a little bit about jobs.
Yeah.
Who's going to lose them? They might be one.
No, they won't be. They won't be.
Listen, if a drone can take the pictures better than me,
Well, you have to look at the flight time.
wow.
Yeah,
It-
like you
it-
said, the
it depends-
limitations, right.
It depends on
Yeah.
what the job is, what the project is.
Right.
So some things drones can do, other things you're still going to need a helicopter.
For
Yes, absolutely. But
It's an enhancement tool. I mean, you know,
Yeah,
it
but I
has
just
it has a
can't-
lot of versatility. That's the beauty of it, though.
I just can't.
Yeah.
Listen. So
here's-
law enforcement, at them helicopters that I hear at night,
yeah.
I won't have to hear them if the drone takes the picture.
See, the drone can just
Well,
slide in.
here's-
And,
You know what
You
I'm
know?
saying? I don't have to hear it. I can sleep.
Okay, hold on. Let's reel this in. Okay, because you have to remember that it has to be line of sight. So somebody needs to be in line of sight of that drone
Right,
on the
right.
ground.
Okay, I'll be in a car. I'll be in a police car chasing it, right?
Yeah, but they're actually working on beyond line of sight. Now, here's another whole bank of jobs that are going to come up. Do you realize that FedEx, UPS, Walmart, Amazon
yep.
have all applied for flying warehouse permits
Yep.
for regional drone delivery?
Yes, they have.
Yep, I heard about that. I did hear
Okay.
about that. Wow.
So you need pilots to pilot those drones. That's a whole network. There's actually the beginnings of a air traffic control system in place now in the U.S. for drones. It's called LANCE, Low Altitude Authorization Notification Capability. Now, within that network, they are developing it further so that there will be air traffic controllers for drones, and drones will start to be manufactured with transponders just like planes. They will have their own level of air traffic. What we teach now within this certification process is that you cannot fly higher than 400 feet above ground level. So within that range, there will be lanes just like you have for regular air traffic above that, and just like you have for automobile traffic
Underneath it.
Imagine yourself on the Schuylkill. There's 3 lanes.
Right,
Okay, so you got the slow lane, you got the moderate lane, and the passing lane.
right.
So within that 400 feet, there'll be designated different lanes for different types of beyond line of sight drone operation.
But so if they're going to do that, they have to have some kind of control on the amount of drones in the air at any specific time in any specific area, just like they do the airplane.
Right, so that's where the air traffic control comes in. That's why they have transponders. And right now, they already manufacture drones that if you are within 5 miles of an airport in Class B airspace or Class C airspace, that drone will not start.
Wow.
You have to use your certification certificate number, go in, file a flight plan, and request authorization. And then it will activate that drone.
So you hear right here on Primetime Power Show that you too can be a part of this whole drone community where you could learn so many different aspects of flying drones and the care for them and the people that use them and the organizations and the institutions that are planning to use them, like Walmart and Amazon and all of those other big corporations when they want to move their product. So if you have any questions on this, call 610-574-0513. You can also email us if you have any questions, and we can get it to Mr. Johnson, or you can email Mr. Johnson or the crew at Aerial Systems Group at gmail.com. It's a wonderful place to be. Listen, I'm going to have you back, especially when the whole crew is here, because I'm sure that they will be excited about hearing about these things and having the children and the young adults to be a part of it. So, young teens, young adults, older adults, senior adults, everybody, it's very important
Great
that you
opportunities
know
available.
that about this drones. So, Mr. Johnson, I want to thank you for
welcome.
coming here. Derek, before we get off my segment, I do want to let everybody know that I really miss my counterpart, Mr. Earthquake. And I'm praying for his recovery. And he's doing well. I'm certainly excited to hear about that. I love you greatly, Earthquake. I also wanted to talk a little bit about, well, I don't want to talk about it. I just want to say some shout outs. My niece got hired by Tyler Perry. There's going to be a new show. Yeah, that's going to come
Beautiful.
out every week, and she has a place on that, so I'm excited about that. I also want to tell you those that I talked to about advertising opportunities to just get in contact with Mr. Derek so that he will be able to give you some other information, and I have some information that might be exciting for you. So with that,
so Mr. Johnson, before we sign off on the segment, if you can give us information again in regards to drone lecture, how they can get in touch with you and your company for education, training, deployment information as well, to get access to the great training that you talked about today.
Okay, so you can reach us at dronelecture@gmail.com. You can also reach me at 267-225-0013. You can reach my partner by Paris at Drone Lecture. Paris, Parris, .dronelecture@gmail.com.
wow. Okay, so next we're going to have Reverend Dr. Pendleton. And you know, I always say it's Shuckham Ministries, but he has changed it to what, Derek?
The place of decision.
Okay, so that's what Shuckham Ministries mean. So,
All right.
so
Coming up next.
on the next side, this is Christina from Primetime Power Show.